look at this swing from down the line view. Again, this is a single plane swinger, and he's got his hands a little low again. They should be up a couple to 3 inches higher than they are now. The other thing we're going to notice early on in the takeaway, how he manipulates his arms. Rather than taking them back in a solid unit, he's going to rotate the left arm higher than the right. So instead of turning on the plane, which is his shoulder should be turning on the same plane as the red line, you can see when we're here, we're nowhere close to that. What we'll do is we'll just bring in a white line across his shoulders here. You can see that he's not at all parallel to the red line. So he's swinging off plane with his arms. Then he gets here and the club now is straight up and down. That's creating the issue. The reason it's straight up and down is because the trail arm is floating away. If you look right there, his elbow's there. The elbow should be down. From the front on view from this on the swing, we should see the left arm above the right arm. So that trail elbow needs to be lower so the club can be flatter. Then as he comes down, he does route it down a little bit, but you can see he's got his hands much higher than they were. Now he's getting his hands where they should be at setup. But the problem with that is in the attempt at a single plane swing, what we're trying to do is eliminate the need for all this manipulation, so we can just take the club down the line both directions and hit a nice shot. His inconsistency comes from his setup and his takeaway. What we see in this video is in the setup, his hands are manipulating the club head already. The shaft should run parallel and under the lead arm. And you can see if we draw this line in here, we'll draw it in let's do it in blue, match his shirt a little bit. You can see that he's running way out. Nowhere near is that parallel to his lead arm. Now we're going to watch the takeaway, and in the other video we talked about how we want to be able to see the trail arm underneath the lead arm on the takeaway. And you'll see what happens here is he's going to go back and up. So the trail arm is above the lead arm. That's reverse of where we want to be. There's no way the club can be on plane if the shoulders aren't in the position they need to be. Let's go back to the setup position here, and you can see that with the shoulder here, shoulder plane, as he goes back, it makes sense that the trail arm should be lower than the right arm, because lower than the lead arm, because the trail shoulder is lower than the lead shoulder. But he doesn't. It actually reverses that. Now he gets back, pretty good position here, and we saw that on the down the line view. He was able to get into position. But what he's trying to do is get some consistency, and the consistency is going to come in a large part from improving that takeaway to the top of the backswing. You're going to like this next swing. You did a good job. If you remember in the first video of this sequence, was the same down the line view. He was considerably above plane and not turning his shoulders on the plane. So I've drawn in two plane lines here. One is for the club and the other is for the shoulders. Those planes need to be parallel. That's why they're parallel planes. Watch the takeaway now. He's been working on this for probably 35, 40 balls. Shoulders coming, look at the shoulders turning much more on plane. Much better. A lot closer. Still a little bit flat, but look at the club compared to where it was before. It's just barely above the plane. And he does a much better job of dropping it down on the plane, getting his hands back to where they pretty much were at setup. Gets a nice straight shot right down the line, cut it a little thin, but that's what he's looking for, is that straight shot down the line. You can see it's right down the line. He did really good here. He's made a lot of progress, did a lot of work. Okay, this is much later in the lesson. You see there's very few balls left. He's made some improvement. We still haven't got his hands lined up exactly how I'd want them to be. But what we're really working on is where he's going to be at the top of his backswing. So we'll watch this a little bit, and you'll see that it's a little closer to his body on the way back. The trail arm isn't quite as high as it was before. And what's really nice is on the way down, you're going to get that left arm dropping in. Now you see how the left arm is dropping in a little bit under. You can even see it now, it's a little bit under. That lets the club head stay behind him longer. Creates the lag that we're looking for and the single plane setup. He's also shifted his weight a little better. See how the hips have moved a little bit into it? He's still facing the ball, which is really good. He's got a good angle there. He's got his right arm bent 90 degrees, trail arm. Lead arm is dead straight. Coming into the shot, pretty good position. The head's closing, rotating in. There, he's dead square. You see that? And releases. Still flies the left elbow out a little bit, but that's later in the plan. We're going to get him finishing a little better so he doesn't hurt his body. And releases through. Notice his feet stayed on the ground. He had this habit of raising his right heel off the ground real early. Feet on the ground, facing the ball at impact, everything's squared up, good triangle, nice straight shot.